Big news in American soccer today. The USL announces its plans to create a Division I sanctioned league to rival the MLS. So the idea is that this league would be first division, just like the MLS, and maybe even potentially it could surpass and replace the MLS. And this has also led to, of course, talks of the possibility of promotion and relegation, because the USL already has the USL Championship and the USL 1, which are professional lower division leagues, the second and third division. And if they create their own first division, they could have an in-house promotion and relegation between the three leagues. Now, what do I think of this? Do I think it's going to rival the MLS, or could it even surpass the MLS? Probably not. It probably will not do that at all. What I think is much more likely is something like this: the ABA and NBA merger. For those of you that are unaware, in the 70s, there were two professional basketball leagues in America, the NBA, which still exists today, and the ABA, the American Basketball Association, which has since folded. However, three of the ABA teams got absorbed into the NBA. And I think this is an incredibly likely thing to happen for the new USL League in the future. Now, ultimately, I actually hope that this new USL Division I sanctioned league is going to be a success. And the reason I say that is any new and more professional soccer in America is a net positive for the sport. And there will be new fans of soccer because their city all of a sudden has a top division professional team. Even if that top division professional team is actually not as good as the MLS, maybe even second division quality in reality, it's still going to get people to put butts in seats and sell tickets and make them soccer fans. And that is a huge net positive in my opinion. Now, what do I think MLS thinks of this? Well, my answer is they probably don't care. Like, at the end of the day, MLS is the big dog in this scenario. The USL is a tiny, tiny little puppy, and right now, the MLS has about 30 years of head start against the USL. So the idea that the USL will actually threaten the MLS is highly unlikely, in my opinion. And the other factor to this is, for the USL to be successful, they're probably going to have to look at the markets that don't already have MLS teams, because they don't want that head-to-head competition, because they're not going to go to LA and compete against the Galaxy and LAFC. Same with New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, Dallas, Houston, Nashville, Denver. All of these markets already have teams. So they're probably going to have to look at the markets outside of those markets, and most of them are smaller markets. And to get to the level to where they're actually competing against MLS seems highly unlikely with this strategy. However, is there one way they could do this? Yes, there is. However, it is super high risk, super high reward, but it's far more risk than it is reward. How do they do this? They spend way more than MLS. They make it their point that they're going to have no salary cap. They're going to allow owners to have a blank checkbook and sign any player that they are willing to pay. And they prove on the field they have a better product than MLS. The problem with this is I don't think they're going to do that, and I don't think it will work. For one, even if they do try this, if they make big losses in their first few seasons, it could spell the end of the league, period. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, promotion and relegation, that's how they could be saved. No, promotion and relegation actually, in my opinion, will make the league fold probably even quicker than if they don't do promotion and relegation. Because the reason for this is they need investors, and investors that are willing to spend big money. And if you're spending millions, maybe even billions of dollars on something, you don't want that risk of it just going poof because your team got relegated. That's not a risk worth taking. So, no, I don't think promotion or relegation will save them. In fact, I think promotion or relegation is a sideshow attraction that won't actually help. And I also don't think American audiences are all of a sudden going to just start watching USL because of promotion and relegation. The reality is this: most sports fans, and especially American sports fans, want to see the best. They don't want to see last and third last place playing in a relegation battle. They want to see first and second place competing for the championship. And in America, like, it's going to be 10 times this because we don't have promotion and relegation. And I'm not saying promotion and relegation is not a cool concept. It is a cool concept. It's just unnecessary, not as attractive as so many people think it is, and it's not something that's going to save USL in the long term. Now, there is also the fact that the USL has already done this on the women's side. The NWSL and the USL Women's Super League are both co-Division I sanctioned women's top flight professional leagues. However, I think that is a good case study of what's likely to happen with this men's league. I have seen incredibly little about the USL Women's Super League, and frankly, most people have seen far less than I have. I've seen it because I've actually looked for it and actually tried to look into it to see the players, see what teams there are, and everything else. But most people don't even know it exists. And I think with this new USL Men's Division I league, that's the same thing that's going to happen. I hope it's actually more successful than that, and I hope they can actually have at least 3 to 4 teams that actually are very popular and bring in new fans for the sport, because the best possible scenario, in my opinion, is that after that league folds, it creates a merger with MLS and those teams join MLS. Even better if MLS can eventually get the lower divisions underneath its own umbrella. And those of you that are promotion and relegation zealots, that's the only way we're getting promotion and relegation in America, is if MLS creates a monopoly on all of the professional divisions in American soccer so they can have an in-house promotion and relegation. Now, am I saying that MLS will do that if they get that? No, I'm not. In fact, my guess is they won't. However, that's the only way it's going to happen, and that's the only way it could work.